very much. Allow me to recognize our PJ, the Honorable Mr. Justice Eric Ogora, and the Judicial Service Commissioners, my brother and sister judges, judicial officers, our Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, and our very distinguished guests and speakers who have spoken to us very well this morning, Professor Marion Mutugi, and all of you. I really wish to abide by those protocols that were established and say good afternoon. Good afternoon again. Yes, we like to connect with the greetings. So mine is really to appreciate and thank the Principal Judge of the High Court and your team for organizing this inaugural Human Rights Summit to celebrate the Human Rights Day. And also want to thank the team that demonstrated what is shared leadership in the judiciary. That is precisely what is shared leadership. We take responsibility of every task that is put in our hands, and we execute it like there is no tomorrow. When I see people struggling in the executive and elsewhere, I say, come to the judiciary and run a model of shared leadership, which is working. And because other jurisdictions like learning from Kenya, they have been understanding our shared leadership and think before it goes, can we patent it? Can we write about it? I think Justice Ogora will help us to do that. So thank you so much, the court, the High Court, the Court of Original and Unlimited Jurisdiction. Thank you for being here. Thank you for keeping the wheels of justice running to defend, protect the human rights of our people. We have heard all the speakers who have spoken to us this morning, and we have taken note of what they have told us. And some of what they have told us is going to form part of the takeaway from this wonderful conference. So, therefore, I also wish to join the speakers to thank our partners who expressed faith in us to support this conference. When I was told about it, I was a little bit worried that we might not be able to manage it. But thank God, in the judiciary, we work through faith, and we have been able to surmount so many challenges, working with very little and just doing with what we have. Thank you, all our partners, for having faith in us and for supporting us. I believe in the fullness of time, the judiciary will stop being the stepchild of this government and will get the requisite resources that will enable us to discharge our mandates, clear the backlog of cases. Professor would like to clear a backlog of cases. None of us wants to think about the pending, especially the old cases that are older than 3 years. But we are short of human resource capital. We do not have judges, especially the Court of Appeal has only 29 judges in an establishment of 70. The High Court is also below 50% because the establishment is 200 and we are bearing 96. And I can go on and on. The magistracy is 1,200 and we are operating with only 570. So we are working beyond, but we have learned to be sacrificial when it comes to giving service to Kenyans. So we have taken note of that, and we will continue to agitate for more resources to be able to serve the needs of our Kenyans. We have also taken note of the cyberbullying, the data privacy, When I speak, I always confess that I'm a victim of cyberbullying, or is it called technologically facilitated gender-based violence. But I know the intentions. It's a business model. I don't know to achieve what, maybe to scare me, to distract me, to defame me, and hold me out of office, but they can try something else. So, we have taken also the existential threats that we have been told about, which I have noted. Thank you very much, Duncan Okero. You have kept on reminding us what they are. It is climate change. It is corruption that has eaten the fabric of our society, and we in the judiciary occupy a special role of ensuring that we protect our society from these corrupt practices. We deal with those matters that come with before us firmly. The other existential threat is the gender-based violence, and the story we were told by Madam President of the Law Society about the child, and I wish she was here to hear the response of the judges, that judges have also come in contact with that child 3 years, 4 years, or even below. Somebody told me of a story of a 6-year-old, a 6-month-old who was defiant. You wonder where you detach a child like that. But these people sitting here have such horror stories of horrible cases of gender-based violence. And what have we done? We didn't take a picture and run away, because we know we have dealt with the perpetrator and we are put him behind bar. But when we are put him behind bar, he is being trained, vocational training by the University of London to become lawyers. The other day we had 29 of them qualify as lawyers. What happened to the victim? We are asking ourselves that question. And it is for that reason that we have opened 13 specialized courts, gender justice courts. We did not take a picture and run away. The picture remained with us, and we did something. And we are continuing to do something. We are saying resources allowing us, the CRJ and Judicial Service Commission, they're supporting us so that we can have those gender justice courts in all the 47 counties. So we are listening to Kenyans, we are serving Kenyans, and even our speakers this morning, we have listened to what you have told us, and we are very, very happy about that. So to my speech this afternoon, I am greatly honored to join you for this timely and important summit on upholding human rights in a changing Kenya. The theme of the summit is of great significance in our present time, when we have to contend with multiple human rights issues and challenges that deeply concern the people of Kenya. I take this opportunity to commend the High Court for convening this summit, which allows us a chance to reflect, discuss, and share insights on addressing issues that relate to contemporary human rights landscape in Kenya. My lady justices, the promulgation of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 marked a profound and transformative moment in our country's history. A moment when we, as a people, resolved to enshrine the dignity, rights, and freedoms of every individual at the core of our governance framework. Article 19 of the Constitution articulates the essence of this shift, unequivocally affirming that the Bill of Rights is not merely an aspirational declaration, but an integral part of Kenya's democratic state and the framework for the social, economic, and cultural policies. The Bill of Rights, as outlined therein, forms the foundation of every facet of the state's action and social interaction. It is the guiding framework for shaping policies that promote social equity, economic inclusivity, and cultural diversity. By embedding the Bill of Rights as a cornerstone of government, the Constitution ensures that the principles of justice, equality, and human dignity influence every decision made by the public institutions and every interaction between individuals. Whether we are fostering equitable access to healthcare, education, or housing, or in safeguarding freedom of expression and the right to protest, the Bill of Rights serves as the moral and legal compass that keeps Kenya's democracy. The presence of these provisions of protection of human rights compel the state actors to prioritize. In cases involving enforced disappearances and extrajudicial actions, the High Court has not hesitated to issue orders compelling law enforcement agencies to produce individuals unlawfully detained. This commitment breathes life into constitutional guarantees and sends a strong message against impunity. The High Court has also made significant strides in ensuring the right to adequate housing, and they have done so with gusto. In landmark judgments, there are very many. When I was looking at this paper, we could not cite all of them. It has been emphasized that evictions, when inevitable, must be carried out with dignity and respect for human rights. By foregrounding human dignity, the High Court has made it clear that even the most marginalized citizens must be treated with compassion and fairness. In championing the best interest of the child, the High Court has set an example for judicial sensitivity. Notable cases such as the intervention by the High Court in Naivasha on a Sunday to review bail terms for children detained during maandamano. This reflected the court's unwavering commitment to safeguarding the rights of the most vulnerable members of our society. The High Court has also developed trailblazing jurisprudence on the rights of intersex persons and other vulnerable groups. By expanding the boundaries of inclusivity, the court has advanced the social justice agenda that is envisaged in our Constitution. This, amongst other landmark decisions, shows the High Court of Kenya is truly a guardian of our Bill of Rights. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the progressive and transformative human rights jurisprudence from the High Court and Superior Courts generally, we are still grappling with serious human rights challenges. I'm sure that each one of us has witnessed the significant human rights challenges that our country faces, including extrajudicial killings, abductions, increase in femicide and gender-based violence, what we are calling existential threats to our nationhood. There is suppression of peaceful assemblies, unaccountable use of power, poverty that is ravaging and ravaging so many of our families and communities, and socioeconomic inequalities. These are the realities of our nation. Some of these challenges are rooted in structural inequalities. They are also rooted in governance problems and changing society and global situations. Addressing these challenges remains crucial to the enjoyment of human rights and fundamental freedoms by millions of Kenyans. We are all told, and we were reminded by Professor Mutugi, that we are all children of God, created with a DNA of God in us. So even those who are experiencing this abject poverty are children of God. They are Kenyans. And we keep telling each other, no one should be left behind. Moreover, we must consider issues and challenges presented to promotion and protection of human rights in Kenya, including those with respect to technological advancements and also the changing geopolitical environment. While technological has created and opened new opportunities for people to interact, share resources, and shape societies for better, it has had its downside when it comes to promotion and protection of human rights in Kenya. Just like elsewhere in the world, technology in Kenya has provided a platform for human rights violations and abuses through cyberbullying, digital surveillance, online discrimination, and technologically based gender-based violence. More importantly, we must remain alive to the changing geopolitical realities and the increase of changes and competition as an implication on human rights and fundamental freedoms in Kenya. This has in effect ended. This has an effect to end and abet critical implementation of socio-economic rights and protection of civil and political rights that people should be enjoying, but we cannot enjoy because of these impediments. We are not insulated from the effects of this changing geopolitical context. Another emerging area of concern that I felt I should mention before this courage of justices is the misuse of court processes by fraudulent people. Before, our experience was in land grabbing, but right now there is a new territory. If you have money in a bank account, which is resting there, especially for our retired people, there are unscrupulous individuals who collude with the bank officials and thereby exploit the court orders by seeking orders whereby they arrange. Somebody has money in the bank. Let's name Justice Eric Ogora has 100 million in the bank. Somebody sues him in Nyamira for services rendered and not paid for. Fake return of service, expert judgment, execution through, what is it called? Ganeshi proceedings. And before long, that 100,000 has left the bank and disappeared. So this matter has come before Judicial Service Commission. It is bank-ended fraud, but also judiciary-ended fraud. So we have to be very careful as judges, the orders that we issue in that regard. And I therefore urge the High Court to remain vigilant and set very clear precedents to deter such malpractices. I would also wish to say most of those fraudsters, lawyers, are masquerading. They do not even have a practicing certificate. So we have to be very careful on who we entertain in our courts. In conclusion, my brother and sister judges, our distinguished guests, the High Court has significantly contributed to the protection of human rights, good governance, and democracy in Kenya. Today, let us appreciate our principal judge for saying, we will touch the life of the Kenyan public. We will touch the life of the Kenyan family who have been going to court year in and out to seek letters of administration. Maybe this will significantly reduce the levels of poverty because some people cannot access assets of their deceased parents or grandparents that can help them. Thank you very much, PJ, for that very forward-looking strategy for the judiciary to touch the lives of ordinary Kenyans. So by upholding human rights, addressing socio-economic disparities, and defending democracy, the High Court continues to serve as a pillar of our democracy. While we still face many challenges in the promotion and protection of human rights in Kenya, because it's like some people have never read the Constitution. We will read it for them at the court users committees. We remain relentless in addressing these human rights abuses. The Constitution remains our true north. We must adapt to changing times, and we must be unwavering in our pursuit of justice, equality, and human rights. More importantly, we must endeavor to make human rights and fundamental freedoms a reality for all Kenyans across the country. I thank you all for your attention, and I wish you wonderful deliberations. And with your blessings, I declare the 2024 Human Rights Summit by the High Court officially opened. Thank you very much.